Howdy folks, Moose here with my video on how I finish images. In response to people asking, Moose, you say it takes more than 2 minutes to finish an image, you abandon it. What's that all about? Well, personally, if it takes me more than 2 minutes to finish an image, I'm in fix-it mode. This is for myself personally, just the way I work and how I know it. So if I go into fix-it mode, I'm going to abandon that image. I'll figure out what I did wrong when I took the picture so I don't make the mistake again, but I don't go into fix-it mode in post. That's just the way I do it. Doesn't mean that's the way you have to do it, but in answering that question, I needed to create that video. So first of all, I open up Photoshop. I'm in Photoshop CC 2017, and you can hit the Command or the Control-O keys, and either one of those or simply double-clicking in the middle will open up your open dialog box. You can see my NEF right there. I never work on the originals. I always make a copy of that, put it in the temp folder, which is where I'm at right now, and then I'm just going to open it. Now when I open it, it instantly goes into Adobe Camera Raw, ACR. I'll keep saying ACR, that's Adobe Camera Raw. This is my preferred way to finish raw files, okay? So it's really important you understand I'm working with a raw file. That means I've got all the information possible from that camera right here in front of me, and that's important for image quality. Now, to sit there and finish an image in 2 minutes or less, I have a certain set of things set up to speed up the process. I mean, it is a computer. We might as well take advantage of it being a computer. So the first one is I come over here under presets. You can see where I have 3 presets created: standard, landscape, and flat. These reflect the 3 different picture styles or picture control sets I use in my Nikon D5, D500, etc. So what are those? Where does this come from? Well, I create that. How do I create that? First and foremost, I'll show you how I create that before I actually go to doing this whole thing. First I come over to camera calibration. I'm going to go down to the camera profile right here, and I'm going to select camera standard. And these are being populated for the camera body by Adobe. And since it's not being honored when I instantly open it, I want my camera standard in there. Now, as soon as I do that, the picture will change, but I don't want you to see that quite yet. Next thing I do is again, these are personal preferences. You don't have to do it, but these are the numbers that I used based on working with the cameras I have and the testing I've done to get back to basically my null point, the picture as I took it, the file, the way it came out of the D5. So on sharpening, I'm going to change that number to 85, okay? And then personally, I like to do kind of a pre-strike on my noise when I'm doing black and white work. It's my own personal preference, so I take this slider here over to the letter E. E right there. Nothing, don't really do a lot of stuff by numbers. I just take it over to the letter E. Last thing I do to create that preset, I'm going to come over here to my vibrance and bring it over in the land of about 20s and 30s, somewhere in there. Vibrance is this really cool tool, and what it's going to do is bring up understated colors except flush tones. So I like those 3 things. Once that is done, those settings, then you could do that manually, enter them every time, but I don't want to. It slows down. I have a computer. So I'm going to come over here to these little dash marks, what I call the international stress sign. Because they're so small and people like me get old and wear reading glasses, they're hard to see, but you click on it. It says Save Settings. I'm going to click on that. This dialog box comes up. You want to make sure that all these are checked. All these are checked, but this bottom one, don't check this one. You don't want to do that because then the computer is going to override what you think is correct and put in place what it thinks is correct. And it's your photograph. You need to make those changes. So I click on the word Save. And then you can see right here the menu is already populated, flat, landscape, and standard. Those are the presets you saw over here in this box over here. So if you wanted to save it, standard, you just type it in and click on the word Save. So what I'm going to do then, real simple, is I'm going to go back and go back to the original. And all I have to do is, if you watch this side of the goose, bearcat, when I click on my preset, you're going to see a change, and it should be subtle, not dramatic. Boink. Okay. So now I'm basically back to what I saw, what the camera captured based on my settings here in the photograph. So I kind of work, you could say, from the right to the left as I process this in Adobe Camera Raw. So next, I'm going to come over here to the detail. I'm going to put a fine line of sharpness around these aircraft. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to click on the word or the arrow right here below masking while I'm holding down the Alt or Option key if you're on Windows. Now I do that, mask comes over, and I'm going to use the touchpad. I'm going to bring it over. I look at it, and then I'm going to change this number to 120. This is Moose's preference. This is how I get the images finished, ready to go, especially for printing. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to deal with the spotting. Okay, there's spots in here. There's no way around it. I don't like to show the overlay. I'm going to hit the visual spots, and then I'm going to come over here and go boink and boink. And by the way, if you didn't know this, Photoshop boink works so much better with sound effects. Boink. They don't come boink, boink with the program. Boink, you have to boink, bring them in yourself, boink. But Photoshop boink is happier when you talk to it. Making sound effects makes the thing happy. All right, so I've done some basic spotting. Next, I have to sit there and look at the photograph, and when it comes to finishing, I'm going to finish it based on the subject. So everything I did at the point of capture, how I arranged all the elements in the frame, is exactly how I'm going to finish it. Main subject is the Grumman goose right here, and the tiger or the bear cat right here. Those two I want to bring together. This is dark down here. This is bright up here. That incongruence of that I need to work on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down my split grad filter. Bring it down. Now, if you didn't know this, you could sit there. You can click on the plus signs over here. You can bring everything back to 0 like you see it, because otherwise it's going to default to the last settings you use for the split grad. So you just click on a split sign, the plus sign, and it's all going to go back to the zeros. So now I'm going to sit there and bring it down. First and foremost, I'm going to bring the highlights down before I hit exposure, because I want all the highlights brought down. I'm going to bring the whites down, the sky, because now as soon as I hit the exposure, maybe a third of a stop, see it's starting to bring it down a little bit. We'll go half a stop. Okay, that works. Now I brought down the darkness on that bear cat, so I'm going to bring up my shadows a tad, like that. Okay. Now, that works for the top. I might bring it down. Let's see here. I might bring up the clarity a little bit. Yeah. Now let's try dehaze. Now if I hit dehaze, I'm going to have to sit there and take away the saturation a little bit. Let's see what a little bit of dehaze does. See how I'll go and double click on that. Watch on this part of the photograph here. Okay. It's going to get darker as I dehaze the blue. If it gets too much like that, that's not real. That looks phony. Okay. So just take the saturation, back off saturation a little bit. There you go. Boink. Easy. Okay. So there you go. Now I'm going to come back over to my zoom tool, come back to my basic panel, which is where I do so much work. Here I'm going to bring down my highlights some more. Okay. I'm going to sit there and bring down my whites some more. Bring up my shadows, because that's going to take care of this side of the subject. Bring it up. As I do all that, I see what? I see this foreground getting a little bit brighter than I want. No problem. Back to split grad. Bring it up. Darken that foreground a little bit. Boink. Quick look. Boink. Open. Boink. And there you go. Command, Control 0, fill the screen. If I want to finish it off, I still have my neck working. I'm going to go right here to my favorite filter. I'm going to go to Pro Contrast. It's going to default to it because I use it so much. My recipes over here, you can find them on the website. They're as good as till the program stops working, which is coming. Click OK, and the photograph is done. The last step for me is to simply go and do a Command Save As. So that's Command Shift S or Control Shift S. Do a Save As. Get rid of the little hashy tag. Click Save, and I'm out and done. That's how I finish an image in less than 2 minutes. So you could say I cheat in making the preset, but it's really speeding up the process using the computer to do what a computer does best. And that's how I finish an image in less than 2 minutes. So hopefully that helps. Thanks for tuning in. More to come.